You are looking live at the daily chart of the S&P 500 index, which closed at an all-time high today. It was up 52 points, or a little over 1%, and the volume was above the 5% above the average daily volume. You can see that the S&P is, a lot like the Nasdaq, just having these little slight pullbacks during this power trend rally that we're having here. Very special time. This is something that we have to take advantage of here with the S&P and the Nasdaq. I'm not going to go to the Dow. The Dow did not make an all-time high, but the Nasdaq 16,309 took out the high from 16,302, but the close on March 1st of 16,274 was just a point above the 16,273 today. As you can see, there is up 242 points, or 1.5%. Volume was a little lighter than yesterday, and yesterday was a little lighter than these two days of pullback. So we had some couple of 2 days of good selling, and now it's bounced off the 21 for the Nasdaq. Anyway, let's get to some stocks. I will include Meta today, just because it went through the 500 level, the old Jesse Livermore ghost of the large round numbers. And it was up a lot higher. It was up 519, almost 520, closed at 512. It's a good day for Meta. The closing of the daily range was 59% of the daily range. So Meta, very strong. I'm not going to go through the Tesla and Apple. I'm going to spare you those other charts, but I am going to get to NVIDIA because it was upgraded today, and this thing just continues to climb higher. It was up, almost 40 bucks today, or 4.47%. You can see that closing range, 97%. That's a nice MC Hammer candle right there. Could bode well for tomorrow. We'll see. We got some after hours action. I'll get to that in a little bit. SMCI. I think we're getting a little spoiled here, folks. Halfway through the session, or this beginning of the session, this thing was lower, quite a bit lower. Right here, you can see it's a little wobbly here in the morning. It was down like 20 bucks, and people were DMing me on Twitter saying, "What's the matter with SMCI?" Folks, it's not going to make a new high every day, okay? I know it's going into the S&P, and there's going to be some buying of this stock, and there's way too many shorts in here, but it's not going to go up every day. I mean, even though it has been going up every day, you can't expect it to go up every day. A pullback every now and then is healthy. This is 16% above its 10 EMA, so a little pullback is not going to hurt us after hours. This thing, though, it could be down, like I said, 20 bucks in the morning and up 35 bucks for the day. Just an incredible stock. Super microcomputers. All right. I do like that hammer candle on that one for sure. This one, just like NVIDIA with that hammer closing daily range 97%. So you got to like that buying into the close. And if I went to the 5-minute chart, once again, you could see that how it was down and then just kind of rallied back up all day. Nice volume into the close. Probably some shorts saying to give up on this thing. Just won't go down. All right, when the market opens, like I put stocks, that are on my ready list, but really have no idea which way the market's going to go. We're seeing rotation, though, definitely into, as the rally broadens out, we're seeing it into construction and materials and home builders and financials, and moving away from these software names, the high valuation software names. This is Snowflake. I'm waiting for this thing to, stop going down and showing a bottom when we get this capitulation selling here, where just all the sellers are done. And where this thing bottoms, I have no idea. I have a sense that there might be some more sellers out there, or maybe that's it. I don't know. But the low yesterday was 163.37. Today, 163 again. So still watching Snowflake, but yeah, that's, I mean, if you liked it at 237, right? I mean, 163 sounds pretty good, but you could see that they're selling these software names, and there's just out of favor right now. And that's just the way the market goes sometimes. Elastic, another one, they reported earnings, gapped up this prior to earnings reports, this time gapped down below its 50, and that's always a sell sign for me. And this one made a lower low today of 104. Yesterday, the low was 107, right? And day before was 105. So be careful there with Elastic. Probably some more sellers in that one. But you can see that, the software names are just not getting any love. This is Datadog. Been talking about this weakness along the 50. It just keeps revisiting and no bounce. There's no power in this move. And Datadog, this is definitely an avoid here. Yeah, software names are just not getting a lot of love. Let me see. I'm gonna get to some of that stuff later on. CrowdStrike, I was a little encouraged with the CrowdStrike move. I know yesterday it made a high of 365 and just pulled back all day. And then today it went down to 315 and battled its way back. So I was kind of impressed with that. So maybe all the selling's done there, and maybe it bottomed out there at 315. But still closed out flat on the session and just came down to its moving averages here. And CrowdStrike, of all these names, CrowdStrike is the one real standout. Zscaler once again sliced to 50, and it's seeing a lot of selling here. And so you just got to acknowledge this. Don't try to fight it. You don't know how low they're going to go or how long the selling is going to last. So for me, I mean, as a swing trader, I mean, that's adios muchachos for sure. I mean, because I just don't know when they're going to start buying this again. And when they do, we'll know. I mean, we'll know, and we can get back into them, but don't try to fight the trend. We want to find stocks that are trending higher. I have a leading stock list of stocks that I post, and review them every weekend. And I think I'd rather fish in that pond than try to fight that trend in the software names. Anyway, one of the areas that is getting some love is the medical product stock. This is Edwards Lifescience. Had it on my ready list, and it popped this morning. You can see the big cup with handle. The paint by numbers. Buy point was 90.20. I think I like to get in there a little earlier than that. I forget what the buy point was on that, to be honest with you, but it was I don't know, maybe it was 90.20. Paint by numbers 90.20. But anyway, that's a nice breakout of a 6% move with volume. So yeah, the medical stocks are getting some love. And if you got a piece of that one, some people hit me up on Twitter and thank me, but you don't have to thank me. You have a service, and service should kind of lead you to some of these stocks. Let me see, ISRG, Intuitive Surgical. I have a lot of friends who work there, really good people, really good company. So I like to see it do well. It broke out of a base a long time ago. So this has been rallying with the index. This is November move from what, 254 now to 392. That is a heck of a move. And just, surfing off its moving averages, but definitely showing strength. LNTH is an oldie but goodie. It's struggling. Below its 200's in like no man's land. Above its 50, which is below the 200, and below the 200. So which is above the 50. So this one's had a long struggle. Showed some strength today, but you can see this like double bottom pattern on the weekly chart. So maybe it's done going down there at $50, but still has a lot of work to do before I would even think about recommending LNTH TMO. This is a Thermo Fisher Scientific medical research equipment. Definitely showing strength here. Not an all-time high. That was back here, but nice move out of this base here. You can see these 3 weeks tight areas, and Thermo Fisher's showing strength. I think I made a new high today. Yeah, new 52-week high for TMO. The home builders as well showing strength here. This is DHI, DR Horton, which is showing a new buy point. I was going to put this one on our ready list, and I didn't, and it was up 2% and starting to get away from me. Friday, and I might put it on tomorrow. DHI looks pretty good to me, and the entire cohort of construction, building, power equipment is showing a lot of strength. Pulte Homes is one. Looks a little stronger than DHI, making a new high today. That one looks good. And then Dreamfinder, this is one that I put on our watch list last week or the week before, and I think it gapped up and then came down after earnings, and then now traded up again. It's getting, away from its base, or just pushing away from its base, but still it's only 2.8% above the 10 EMA. So the rising 10 and the 21, that stock looks pretty good to me once again. Couple other ones are Toll Brothers. They make more of the luxurious type homes, expensive type homes. And this one broke out after earnings, and now it's just starting to turn into a surfer as well. Just trending higher with its moving averages. Looks fantastic. A couple other ones. I've got to go back to the time machine to General Electric. This one, if you can see, I have friends who work here, a lot of friends, and they had to like extend their careers like 10 years because this is when Jeff Immelt just destroyed this company. And so anyway, they're still working there. I was in a golf league with them. They're a lot happier these days though. And golf is more enjoyable when you're making new 52-week highs. General Electric looks fantastic. Eaton is another one of these diversified stocks just powering higher because we need more power for the data centers. We need more power for AI. And this diversified operations group is powering higher. Speaking of power, ticker symbol PWR. Excuse me. This one made an all-time high today. Broke out of a base, gapped higher. And I hear people complaining that the breakouts aren't working anymore. They're squatting. No, this breakout, on February 21st. 22nd, I should say, it was at 221. Now it's at 244. I would say that's going higher. Power wants higher prices. And then Road, this is another one that I had on a ready list as well. And this thing's just, for a slow moving stock, this thing's moving really nicely. It's up 3% today. So there's just a lot of stuff. I can't get to all of it. I try every day to, do something different. Yesterday, of the couple days, I had financials and industrials, materials, home builders. There's just a lot that is driving the markets higher. It's not those same old stodgy, mega cap tech stocks like Microsoft and Apple and Tesla and Google. They're kind of hurting. Anyway, I'll stop picking on them and go to the drug stocks. I'm going to start with Lilly because Lilly, Novo had the big news today about their phase 1 trial, and it is big news. But Lilly started off down, and people were contacting me saying, "What's the matter with Lilly?" Well, it went down because Novo Nordisk had a positive trial for oral, which they're not even going to even entertain the darn thing until next year. They just showed the data. And with the kidney results from earlier in the week, which I thought should pop the stock even more, but it didn't do anything. But Lilly went down, and then people maintained sanity and then bought the thing back up. It finished flat on the session. But Novo was the story of the drug stocks today, up 9% there. Yeah, and I've been talking about this for a while. You guys probably get tired of me talking about Novo, but the big deal about all of this is that this GLP drug is, in the medical field, they consider it a miracle drug. There's plenty of room for all these players. Novo and Lilly both said they don't have enough supply to meet the demand, So this is good. There's enough room for everybody. But with Novo, this allows them to get into Medicare and have them covered the kidney and cardiovascular. That's the big deal about this. It's not, and then also they have, they bought Catalent, so they have the manufacturing. I think they're looking ahead and making smart moves because those who can manufacture the most will make the most, will sell the most. It's common sense. And so I like Novo, I like Lilly too, but I'm a little, I prefer Novo. Now it has a 600 billion market cap, where Lilly has a 741 billion market cap. So these are some big companies, but there's a reason for that. They're selling the heck out of everything they can make. And this is going to be the largest selling drug in the history of mankind. And I don't know. I talk about it every day. Like I said, you guys are probably tired of me talking about it, but just look at this growth numbers they have. Look at the margins they have. This is anyway. Novo is a strong stock. It gapped higher today, and congrats to the longs. Okay, so Viking got punished. All it really did was it was down 19%, but all it really did was just pull back to its 10 EMA, which, eventually, that's why I say watch the moving averages, because eventually they do. But, these guys are going to have a readout here pretty soon, and it's going to spike again. And somebody's going to buy these guys. I'm pretty sure about that. It's just a question of when. So I expect Viking to have their readout data here pretty soon. Certainly, they said by the end of this quarter, which is the end of this month, and it's already what, March 7th. So in the next few weeks, we're going to hear from Viking. They're probably not too happy about that haircut today. And then I gotta go to Aquestive Therapeutics. They reported earnings yesterday, and the stock sold off immediately. It went down to, I want to say 380 on this sell off here, 360. Holy smokes, 360 yesterday, and today it closed at 568. So that's a heck of a move, right? I mean, it's a huge move in a two sessions. So Aquestive, though, closed near the high of the day. It's getting, I tell you, when this thing gets, above 30% above its 10 EMA, which it is right now, it usually pulls back a little bit. It's been doing that like every day since this move higher out of that 295, this little base here. But geez, strong stock, and it's been great for those who are participating and bought that stock in that move. Anyway, all right, I'm going to move on because I'm tired of the drugs. Nope, I lied. I have CPRX on our ready list because I like this base here. They built the right side of this base really too quickly, and so it needs to shake out some of these or just have some profit taking to form a handle. I thought it was going to come down to the 10, and it almost did, but today it popped nearly 5%. So we'll have to see what happens here. I like to get them as close to the moving average as possible, and maybe that's all you're going to get with this one. It was 2.3% above the green line here. That's a 10, so 10 EMA. I'm going to leave it on the ready list. I like this stock. It's got nice sales growth, decent fundamentals. It's got earnings. It's a quality company. Anyway, I've got to move on to retail because I've been waiting for this for a long time. Abercrombie and Fitch reported a strong report, and now finally we're seeing some profit taking. Finally, it's pulling back. Today it closed at 127.78, so it's in between the 10 and the 21. So maybe it'll come down here. You could take a bite out of Abercrombie. They just had a strong report. There's nothing wrong with the report. There's nothing wrong with the company. There's nothing wrong with the guidance. It's just after a run like this, there's going to be some profit taking. So I'm just kind of waiting for Abercrombie. I don't think it's going to form a base here, like for a 6-8 weeks. I wish it would, but I think it's probably going to bounce off a moving average. But I watch it every day, and it's doing what I hoped it would. American Eagle had a strong report, and these earnings reactions are wonky, man. Sometimes you really got to watch these things. This was up 26.44. It was up, I don't know, I want to say 15%, and then pulled back to its 21 here and closed right at the lows of the session there. No, wait a minute. It says 77%. No way. Okay, so it sold off. Let me go to the 5-minute. Oh, wow. Yeah, close at the lows, that's for sure. Anyway, strong report. Sometimes there's just profit taking and earnings reactions are a little wonky. I didn't see anything wrong with the American Eagle report. So another one that I'm going to continue to watch. BURL reported also this morning, and this one gapped higher, pulled back and closed 45% of the daily range. So it doesn't qualify as a earnings gap higher. Not enough of a move, and closed at the lower half of the daily range, but still a nice move if you're a shareholder. ELF, this one came back 2 days. That's it. Came back to the 10 and bounced. Today it had an inside day here. The high was 212.10. Yesterday's high was 212.90. Yesterday's low was 206.54, and today's low 207.08. So higher low and a lower high. It's an inside day. ELF has just been a monster, and it needs a little bit of a breather. What other CROX? I was going to show CROX. I got to get to some of these shoe stocks. CROX bounced nicely, 3% off its 10 EMA. Pulled back. Foot Locker kind of spit the bit yesterday, and all the shoes stocks were down, but CROX just pulled back to its moving average and popped today. That one looks strong. Deckers, of course, this one's starting to flag a little bit here, which I like. Going into the S&P 500, it gapped higher on Monday and now just making this little flag right along the 10 EMA. I wouldn't be surprised to see that one pop. And gosh, I wish these companies, SMCI and Deckers, would announce stock splits and make them more liquid. Okay, what other ones? Okay, a couple of the food and beverage stocks. Celsius definitely showing strength here. This one was above 90 today. It looks like it just wants to go to 100 after the earnings gap. Today's high was 90 and a quarter. Nothing wrong with Celsius. Looks fantastic. It's got the fundamentals, the growth, the earnings, sales. Celsius looks fantastic. And the last one I'm going to cover today that has been on our Reddit list, I don't mention it much, but Kava, and a couple of members said they got into Kava. It was on the list, and it was at 4% today. Nice pullback to the 10, and then found support and popped higher. You know, it popped off the 21 earlier. Now the 10. Kava is showing strength, and you got to like a stock that looks like that. Anyway, that's it for me today, except for I lied in honor of the great Steve Jobs. We have one more thing. That is some earnings after hours, and I don't have enough time to really thoroughly go through any of these reports. This is just surface stuff. You know, MDB, it looked like a good report, but like I said, the reaction sometimes is wonky here, down 13%. I don't know. Sometimes you have to wait for the call, but you know, I mentioned that with these software names, they're just selling them off, and now this is below the 50. And if it's going to continue this way, it's going to be below the 200 tomorrow. We'll see what happens with MongoDB. DocuSign, this is a software name. It's up 13% after hours, over $60. So this one's just been consolidating for a long, long time. There's rumors of buyouts, just something that I would stay away from, but just acknowledging a nice move in the software group, which has been kind of rare. IoT, Samsara, a nice 14% move here. They had a strong report. I saw that they beat and raised. I forget what else. Anyway, I'll have it in the morning. I have all this stuff in the morning report here, but IoT looks good. Costco did not. Costco was selling off 4%. Okay, not bad. It's had a hell of a run. So if it pulls back to what is it, 749, 750? Okay, so it's still 740s at 21. So yeah, not a big deal. It'll probably find support there. That is a heavily sponsored name. Costco. Oh, the two semiconductor names, MRVL. I did see where they did not have a good report. I think the report was good, but the guidance was a little weak. So it's getting hit 7%. And then I did look into Broadcom, and their report was fantastic. They guided to 50 billion in revenue for this year. So maybe it pulls down, what is that, 1370? So let's see here. Well, that's not even down to the 10 here. So yeah, Broadcom's just a real strong stock. You got to expect some profit taking when your stock's gone from 795 to 1400. I mean, come on. This is not SMCI. But anyway, it's down 2% after hours. We'll just see how it goes in the morning. I'll have all this information in tomorrow's report. Tomorrow morning's Friday. We get the jobs report at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up. Thank you for watching.